over the last few years, I've been building my creator business, and currently things have never been simpler. Things have never been more sustainable and predictable. And we're at 6 figures. So it's pretty good in terms of work-life balance and stuff like that. And I want to just tell a story today about how all of that unfolded, because my path was definitely not straightforward, and I know that a lot of creators have suffered, the same fate that I did for a while. So I just want to kind of be a guiding light for you today and share some of my experience. I always thought that if I could just get loads of views, I would have loads of money. And it wasn't until I was in a supermarket in my local town trying to decide which avocados I could afford, and some kids came up to me and asked to take my photo because they had seen me on TikTok. I was the guy from TikTok. And it was in that moment I realized I had kind of fucked up, because I couldn't pay bills. And that's not good. So I had like an agency, but I also had the YouTube channel, and I also had other little side quests happening. So there was just chaos. And because of that chaos, I had no focus. And I was doing okay. Sometimes I'd make 5 to 10 grand a month, but it was very, very up in the air. Some months you make no money, some months you'd make a bit more. But it was just very chaotic and stressful, and I didn't really know what I was doing. And I was building an audience, yet I was selling other people's stuff. And they didn't even care that I had an audience. They would pay me the same as everyone else. Like, I was doing these ads for a lot of very popular companies, and they would pay me, and my face would be in their videos. So I was like, well, why am I selling people's stuff? They're paying me a tiny little bit when I have this whole freaking audience here. Why don't I just sell my own stuff? And slowly but surely, I started to kind of, do some research and believe, okay, maybe I could do something here. Because I didn't want to continue down this path where I'm just putting my face in front of other people's products that I didn't even care about. And honestly, I'm not going to look like this forever, so there's going to come a point where they're not going to hire me anyway because I'm too old or whatever. So I needed an escape plan, basically. I knew that it was possible to have a more sustainable approach to this because I saw other people doing it, but I guess I didn't really believe I could do it. I thought that someone else had to give me permission. I thought that another company had to pay me instead of me just being the direct line. Instead of people paying a company and then the company paying me a tiny percentage of their profits, I knew that I could just be the company and just have a main line, remove the middlemen. And when you remove the middlemen, you also give yourself that creative freedom, that flexibility, because it's you that you have to go through. There's no other approval. There's no brief. The brief is you. You just have to exist, and that is the foundation of the business. Now, I've always been the type of guy who likes to go with the flow. I got into yoga and Eastern teachings and stuff in my early 20s, and naturally that leads to the new age world where you get into manifestation and all of this stuff. And I thought I was going to manifest $1 million. I would meditate all day, every day, visualizing and affirming. And honestly, it didn't really make anything happen. But what did really help my situation was constraints. And I believe that as creators, we thrive within constraint. And going with the flow, oftentimes people interpret that as avoid any sort of resistance whatsoever. But the truth is, if you have constraints, you're going to face resistance, because that is the point of the constraint. It's to keep you on a path of sorts. It's to keep you focused on a North Star. And my North Star was, I want to create, I want to make money, I want to have the freedom to go where I want when I want to, and I want to continue growing and exploring as an individual. So eventually I bumped into a guy, who became my mentor. And he had so much belief in me and my potential. You know, he had this whole vision of what I could do and how much money I could make and how many people I could help. And I was like, yeah, cool. Good luck with that. That's for other people. I'm not that blessed, and not even you can help me to do that. So, sorry. But then eventually I picked my balls up and decided, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. I should at least give this a shot, because I don't have anything to lose. I know what this world I'm in right now looks like. I know what it's like to have 7 income streams, and you know, in many ways life is good, but at the same time I'm terrified every single month because I don't know what's going to happen with my finances. And I needed to humble myself. I needed to let go of my ego, let down my guard, and surrender to the possibility that I would need to commit to doing something every Monday and every Thursday at the same time. This is literally a conversation I had with my mentor. I was like, well, like, what if I want to go on a ski trip? Like, how am I going to do my calls if I'm on a ski trip? And he said, well, this is the cost of being able to go on a ski trip whenever you want, is that you need to carve out that time to serve people. And so I said, okay, I will listen to you and I will follow your guidance. And what we ended up doing was burning everything to the ground, basically. So my description in my YouTube videos that was filled with like 17 different things, you know, like book a meditation call, book a breath work, book a freaking mentorship. Here's my Amazon storefront, all of this stuff gone, everything gone. And I just shifted the focus to the thing that I was good at, right? I've been creating content for 10 years and it's just something that comes natural to me. And this is what people have always asked me about. When I was doing agency work, people would literally ask me to help them make their videos, but then people would ask me to teach them to make their videos so they could make their videos, so that I could empower them to do the thing that they wanted to do. My first clients were in my locality, actually, 2 therapists who wanted to start creating their own organic content. So that was the goal, was to set up this creator sprint basically for like-minded creators to come together to find their voice and to share their gifts with the world. And so then it was just a matter of planning it out. And if I could achieve this, I figured, well, then I'll have my own offering. I won't have to rely on these other businesses to, you know, pay me when they want to. And also I'll just have more sovereignty in what I'm doing, so that I can spend more time focused on my own things. I don't have to worry about selling my face to other companies, and I can just use my face for my own company. So it was going to be a huge deal if this would work itself out. And one of the things that really kind of bothered me about this whole space is that everyone was, you know, tricking people. You know, they would have like a fake countdown timer, or there would be like 17 funnels, and you would get a free ebook or a free whatever the fuck, and then the moment you got it, they'd try to sell you something. And I just didn't like that, because it was like, oh, so you actually didn't want to give me a free thing. So I wanted to do things in a way where it was like transparent and clear. It was like, look, you're going to give me money and I'm going to give you a great experience. And that was the goal, to do this in a way that actually was aligned with my beliefs, because I love life. I love people. I love helping. And I don't want those things to be at odds, because if I need to trick someone in order for them to give me money, then I don't want that money. And so it was really important to me that I could find a way where it was just super transparent, and it wasn't about selling stuff to people, but it was aligning with people that wanted the thing that I could help them achieve. And so anyway, after all of this contemplation and deliberation and committing to this, you know, new direction, the next thing that happened was pretty tough. Something really unfortunate that happens to every single person I've ever met, myself included, that is trying to do something new for the first time is that it's really friggin' painful. If you imagine a child learning to walk, they don't just start walking all of a sudden. They start, crawling a bit, and then they fall. And then maybe they stand with the support of someone else, and then they fall. And then they're doing, their thing, walking, and then they fall. And there's a degree of pain and scaredness. You get scared throughout that process. And it's no different when you are launching a new business for the first time. So when I went to launch this thing, I didn't believe it was possible, because I had no reason to believe it was possible, because I hadn't done it yet. It's silly to think that you can walk when you haven't even crawled. I wasn't even crawling. So I needed to push through this torturous gap between where I was and where I wanted to be. And that's where I know a lot of people get stuck, and then they end up going back the way they came. But because, I had someone helping me, I held their hand, basically. They held mine, and it still wasn't easy. I felt like an imposter. I felt like a fool. I felt like this wasn't for me. And I would have to just go and be a barista forever. If I wanted security, that was the only option for me. You see, the previous version of me that was always going with the flow would have said something like, oh, well, this is uncomfortable, so this must not be the flow. And I would have just quit. But with this particular launch that I was doing, basically I was doing a campaign, and nobody signed up, pretty much. 2 people signed up, and it was about to start. It was like a week out or something. And again, part of me would have been like, oh, clearly it's not aligned. Well, we should just quit and we should go and play small for the rest of our lives. But sure enough, actually a day before the launch happened, a bunch of more people came in. So we ended up having a successful launch. That month was the first €20,000 month that I ever did in the business between this and the other stuff I had going on. And it was really, really wonderful. But it was wonderful most importantly because it solidified the belief that I'm not just someone who gets paid by other people when they feel like paying me, but I'm someone that can actually generate and manifest experiences with which people can hop into. And if they want to hop in, the value is what the value is. And so I'm giving this experience, and so they give me currency to that same value. And that was a huge shift for me. And so now I had these people that I was working with, and that was really enjoyable, but I still didn't really have a proper system of how I could replicate this. And since I was busy working with these people, I didn't quite have the bandwidth to, do other business related things. And so that's kind of when I sat down again and came up with a way to sustainably do this so that I could make that happen again, serve more people, and serve myself in the process. And that's how I landed upon what I call this organic attraction method, basically, which allows me to just make videos that are predominantly centered around my unique perspectives, my unique quirks. And the beauty of this is that I don't need to wait for a trend to happen before I can, make things happen, because I am this tiny little trend. I am this tiny little niche or whatever, People are interested for one reason or another in what I have to share and my unique philosophies and approaches. And all I really needed to do was just show up and be me. And of course, having the back end systems in place, that is very important as well, because otherwise none of this runs. But once that is set up effectively, all you need to do is be you and broadcast your value to the world. And as soon as I started implementing this, then things started to pretty consistently turn over and work very well and very predictably. And that is what I was always kind of looking for, was to let go of this anxiety around what's going to happen next month. And by getting this system in place, then it just kind of solved that for me. So pretty much my new model, I just make 2 videos a week usually, and I don't really edit them very much. This one, I decided to make it a bit more of a story, but usually it's just me sitting down chilling, and then I do a few hours of calls per week with all of my clients to help them with whatever challenges that they're facing. And I know what you might be saying. You might be saying, hey David, well that's easy for you to say with your majestic beard and your YouTube channel with all of these subscribers. Well, I can't do anything about the beard. I mean, that is what it is. You know, some people are just born with unfair advantages. But the subscriber thing, the audience, dude, I had 30,000 subscribers when I was really struggling. Like the story I've been telling you, I had like 30,000 subscribers this whole freaking time. And I was getting way more views back then than I am now. The difference is I'm more intentional now with what I'm doing, and I've learned the skills and implemented the back end into the business. So really, this is possible for you, but you first need to own that you have value, information, the ability to support somebody through a transformation. You need to own that yourself. Then you need to learn, you know, how to attract people through content creation, and you need to build out an offer and a sales process. That's what you need to do. And yes, you can do this with or without a beard. It's not essential. That being said, I made a video that talks about my specific content to client system that is the main reason that this works so well. So I'll pop a video here where you can just go and watch that next, where I break down everything. And you can learn from that and then go implement that in your business today. And yeah, hope you find that useful. Hope you found this enjoyable, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, lots of love.